Okay, I'm back, like I promised, talking about homelessness as a person who have been homeless herself with her family. Let me start off by saying there are some great people out there who love to give. Let me just start saying that. And in addition to that, let me just say you might not find it in your family and friends. I'm sorry, because you know how we like to give the good news and then we try to hide the bad news, or some people like to give the bad news and don't give the good news. No, we desire balanced scales here. That's what we do, balance scales. So yes, there are a lot of amazing people that love giving, amazing, out there and helping out. But don't necessarily expect it from family and friends. Don't. If you get it, yay, good. If you don't get mad. And this is coming from someone, like I said, that have been homeless before for over 2 years. I believe it was 2 years and 8 months. Homeless in a car with 4 humans, 2 dogs, and 1 turtle. Yeah. Let's just say we had close quarters. So while homeless, everyone's experience will be different, but this is my experience with agencies. I'm specifically talking about agencies, and being homeless. I'm not gonna say the agencies' names right now, but later on I might not. It depends. But right now I'm not gonna say the agency's name, because these agencies do try to help you a lot, and they have so many resources. I mean, they do their thing. However, no business is perfect. Let me just start off by saying that no business is perfect. There's always room for growth. Yeah. So this is my experience. That reminds me, later on, if I see people asking, like, if you're a registered nurse, how did you become homeless? Let me tell you. That's another story. Yeah, but only upon request will I say that. Basically anyone can become homeless at any time, because you never know what's gonna happen, because life could throw some angles at you and you'd be like, what? But yeah, so while being homeless, I was working as a registered nurse, because that's what career I've been doing the longest. Working as a registered nurse for 17 years, but I've been a housing strategist for 10 years. So it's, the housing strategist is shorter than being a registered nurse in the medical field. So I was working as a registered nurse while being homeless, right? And as a registered nurse, there was a lot of opportunities, especially with the nonprofits that help with homeless women, because I went in women programs, and everything. I went to another shelter, but they couldn't take me because we had kids. And this shelter did not allow kids because of the type of people that were in the shelter. They do not want your kids being molested, raped, kidnapped, and that's understandable. Okay? But I'm talking about the other ones that I did work with as a woman. One of the problems, like I said, these nonprofits are amazing. They help you out. However, have you ever been, for the people, I don't know if they do that now in school because I'm not in school right now. But when I went to school, right? Have you ever been in a school that rewards the top kids? I'm talking about the top, like you're valedictorian, top. Or you're on the principal's honor roll type of thing. Like you have all A's from top to bottom. But if you're that person that have all A's and 1 B, back in my day, you get nothing for it. Nothing. No, oh, you almost made it, congratulations. No, you get nothing. And what used to upset me in those days, I'm getting somewhere with this story. If anybody had this experience in school, listen, like, share, subscribe, depending on what platform you see this on. Listen. And they will reward the kids that ain't doing nothing. Let me tell you. They would reward the kids that ain't doing nothing. Not to the thing. Nothing. They're like, oh, we're giving this reward because we want to encourage them. And let them know they could do better. Nick, ain't nobody got time for that. What about the people who have all A's and 1 B? So you just gonna just skip over everybody and then go to people who ain't want to do nothing with their life. That's what we're gonna do. And I say that for a reason, because from my experience, like I said, these nonprofits, they're amazing. They help you a lot. But my experience, however, have been, because with nonprofits, they encourage you to save, right? They encourage you to save. And me and my sister, we were homeless together in my car. Me and my sister, listen, we were saving up. I mean, there was a point that my feet were turning black because we were never able to lie down. We were always up. We allowed our kids to lie down and our dogs to lie down, but we were always up. And with us being always up, we started suffering from problems with our feet. Our skin would start to turn black and fall off. And listen, I had to start praying, because I'm like, God, I cannot lose my feet. I mean, our legs were so swollen, the knees could no longer bend, the ankles could no longer bend, the swelling went all the way up to our pelvis, that it was hard to sit down. And in that, I still went to work, and I did not let anyone know. I did not let anyone know the struggle I was going through. And when I go to work, I would try to take the steps to help in increasing my circulation, in addition to walking around, because I literally worked in the hospital. So we can save money and we can get out of homelessness. All right. And let me tell you what happened. Remember the story I said about the school? I said it for a reason. Remember the story I said about the school? I said it for a reason. Pay attention. You listen? That's why your Worth Foundation is totally different. done a lot of, listen, I'm telling you, people who are homeless or know someone that's homeless and thriving and pushing to save, listen, we had promises and we signed contracts, right? That if we are able to save some money, they would help us to pay for a place first, last, and security deposit. Listen what I said. You listen? They would help us pay first, last, and security. Let me tell you what didn't happen. First, last, and security. Because during those years of being homeless and still feeding our kids, feeding our dogs, feeding our turtle, maintaining a vehicle, making car payments, because a car payment is literally your house, because you don't know where you're going to be from day to day. We managed to save over $10,000. And these people, they keep track and they ask you how much you save now, how much you save now, blah, 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 blah. Like most programs, right? And let me tell you what happened. Instead of saying, oh, wow, you guys are really implementing what we are encouraging people. You're an example to help other people and let other people know that you guys can make it. Let me tell you. I mean, by the grace of God, we have been able to save this money. I'm talking about me almost falling downstairs because remember, I said my knees and my ankles couldn't bend because my leg was swollen. There was no room for bending of joints. Instead of saying, you know what, if we're gonna tell people like, you know, this is possible, this, and we're gonna help and make sure that we stand up on our side of what we promised. Now, everybody backed out. Once they find out that you have been able to save money as a homeless person, so you can be able to get a roof over you and your family's head, these companies, they back out. They back out. And their explanation of backing out is, oh, you know, we're happy that you've been able to save, but there's people out there who have not been able to save. So we need to save that money for those people and blah, blah, blah. I understand that. I understand the rationale behind it. But do you know what you're doing when you do that? It's the same thing with the government. Do you know what you're doing when you're doing that? You are creating a people who does not want to thrive and push. You're like, well, how is that creating people that not want to thrive and push? Okay. When you have a person that's doing everything that you ask them to do and everything that they need to do because they have a family, right? And then you back out on your part, because our goal was not only renting and having a roof over our head. Our goal was purchasing. But the problem is, when we became homeless, then the pandemic came. First, it was a hurricane. Hurricane Irma. Then the pandemic. I'm looking for a hurricane, pandemic, can't walk, skin falling off of it. And you're telling me that you want to back out and tell me, oh, that's not, I mean, literally. And then on top of that, we got robbed of several $1,000s. So we literally had to spend every penny. So when our kids grow up, when they grow up in size, because kids, they grow out of clothes fast. For anybody who don't have kids, they grow out of clothes fast. They do. So that means you have no you can't buy clothes for your kids. There's so many things you cannot help when you have kids. They always have something in the school. They always ask them for money for something. And you were hoping that because you stand up on your side, that they will stand up on their side. No. And it creates a people like, well, if the only way you're going to help me is if I squander everything, well, we need to change that. We need to change that. Not only from food stamp, but with TANF and all of these things, they do the same exact thing. As soon as one of these low income people, that's why our affordable housing is totally different. The strategies that I've come up with is totally different than anything that exists out there as a whole. Because there are some programs that have parts of it, but not the way how we have put together. Because this is ridiculous. If someone is getting food stamps or TANF, right, and they get a job that's getting paid $8 an hour, these people will literally try to cut everything. That's not enough to live on. That's not enough to live on. How you gonna tell a person, okay, we're encouraging you to push forward and get a job? A person get a job, and now they have to use all their money, and it's still not enough to pay for rent, because you also pull back on paying their rent too. They have to pay for rent, and then you're gonna cut off their food stamp, and then you're gonna cut off the TANF. I'm looking like, okay, now who came up with this program? You have to slowly decrease it based on the cost of living and the price of inflation. That is just common sense. Who come up with... I know I haven't been doing this. I've only been doing this for 10 years as a housing strategist. I know I haven't been doing it like the government for, I don't know how, 300 years or whatever the heck they've been doing it for. But come on now. We don't have common sense. Common sense not it ain't a plenty. We ain't have common sense. And I'm telling you guys right now, for the people that's homeless now, or at the point of being homeless, listen, these programs help you. But if you find a program that stands up to their part of their promise to you, because you stood up to your part of your contract to them, listen, tell me about it. Because, listen, I don't know what's going on out here, but, listen, that's my experience of being homeless and getting your family into a house. Because we didn't have voucher, we didn't have Section 8, we didn't have any of that. For us to get a place, you got to pay cash money, okay? And everybody backed out. These nonprofits, y'all got to get yourself together. from one nonprofit to another nonprofit, you listen. And also, another plug. If you guys want to hear some insights from a housing strategist that have been through all of these things and not only studied the housing trends, I'm your girl, Sharon D. Perry. Listen, y'all want change? Your Worth the Foundation is your change.